Hello everyone, my name is Eli Torres. I'm the Education Programs Manager at Museum Los Gatos, and today I'm going to be demonstrating some mixed media collage techniques. If you're at home and you want to make some art, this is a fun way to get inspired and learn something new maybe. I love collage personally because instead of say drawing or painting where I have a blank canvas or blank piece of paper in front of me, and I have to sit there and really think about what my idea is going to be. Collage, all of that's kind of provided for you already. You just got to put the pieces together and build a story. And that's why I really like collage. It's kind of a very meditative thing for me. Oftentimes it's funny and humorous, and that's something that I feel like I need right now during this time. I think a lot of people might feel that same way. So I encourage you to follow along and maybe make something your own. So my sample is this page, it's kind of like depicting the transformation of Dr. Jekyll into Mr. Hyde, and I overlaid these acrylic painted face masks and gloves. See, it's just cut out cardstock that I painted. For materials, we have scissors or X-acto knife. Today I'm just going to be using the scissors, but if you prefer, you can use an X-acto knife if you have one. Glue stick, Bristol paper. This is just Canson recycled Bristol paper. Cardstock, it's lighter and thinner than the Bristol paper. Light box, if you don't have a light box, you can just put your drawings up to a window and use the sunlight coming through the window, but I'm going to be using a light box. It's a little bit faster and easier for me. And I've also got some paints and brushes. I'm going to be painting with acrylics. I personally really like to work with acrylics because they dry quickly, they're affordable, and they're pretty versatile. And of course, your collage materials. I prefer to use this kind of matte, not very glossy book paper as opposed to magazine paper. Magazine pages tend to crumple when they get wet and wrinkle, and I just much prefer to work with this kind of matte, softer paper. So let's get started. Doesn't he just look amazing? I hate to cover up his face, but that's what I'm gonna do. Sorry, Vincent. To start, you're gonna take your fabulous image, and I'm taking my tracing paper, and I'm just overlaying it on top of the image. I'm just going to lightly sketch over his face the shape of a face mask. Let me just show you. So there he is with his fancy face mask. It's a really quick, simple drawing. It's not very complicated at all. Next step, I'm just going to cut this out. Now, to make things easy, I have a light box, and I'm just going to be using my light box to transfer this image onto my cardstock, which is what I'm going to paint on. I have my light box on. Take my traced image, and I'm setting it on there. I'm just going to use the corner of this cardstock and set it there, and then I can just quickly. So I've effectively transferred the shape of the face mask that's supposed to be on his face onto the cardstock, and the cardstock is nice and thick that I can paint on. I'm not confident that I would be able to put paint on here super well. One, I kind of like the raised look of the paper glued on top, and two, such a lovely image, I'd rather not experiment on trying to paint on top of it. So that's why I'm going to paint on the cardstock. Okay, so I have my paints here, and my brushes, and some water, and a little rag. These are kind of just like the basic essentials that I use when I'm painting with acrylics. So I'm just going to quickly paint this. So here is my face mask. For this project, I'm kind of going more for concept. I think that's the fun thing about collage is that stories can emerge. You don't necessarily have to focus too much on technique. Or, well, in my case, I like to focus on a story or create a story. And so my paintings, especially for these other face masks, were pretty quick. Like there's not a lot of detail in them, like even in the hands. I did them pretty quickly. So now I'm going to cut out the image of my mask. And let's just see how that fits. It's pretty good. I'd say it's pretty good. Okay, so now I am going to first adhere this image to my Bristol paper, just to kind of give it some backing, and then I'll go ahead and be able to glue this on. You can be pretty liberal with this. Isn't that great? That's the back of the image. Pity to cover him up, but usually like to do a border and then a big X in between and kind of fill in some spaces. Don't want to do too much because I don't want it to be too clumpy, but I think that should be a good amount. And I'm going to position it in the center as much as I can. I am going to take my face mask that I painted and glue that on. Make sure it's easy. Oh no. Of course, I got paint everywhere. Oh my, what have I done? Is it even art if you haven't made a mess? How did this happen? Why? It's okay. We're going to Bob Ross this and call it a happy accident. Is it even art if you haven't made a mess? Face mask with all the glue. And now I'm going to position the mask on Vincent's face. Okay. Now he's got a face mask. I'm probably going to also do a glove for his hand. Yeah, then you'll see the final product. Okay, so here is the final image. As you can see, I also added a hand, or rather a nitrile glove. I really like the way that the Bristol paper shows on the outside. It kind of frames the images. I spilled some paint earlier. I just chopped that off. Art is obviously like a really nice way to process, and there's certainly a lot to process right now for all of us. I like to process things for humor, and so to me, you know, this was taking a very kind of serious subject for all of us right now and kind of trying to use it as kind of fodder for creativity. I think a lot of artists are doing that right now, and so this is my call to you. I would love to see your mixed media collages. You know, they could be as simple as this or as complex as your imagination allows. I want to see it all. So if you would like to create a piece either inspired by this or in response to it using kind of similar techniques, please send me a direct message and I will feature it on the museum's Instagram account. Our Instagram handle is at Museum Los Gatos. I will provide a link in the description of this video. So yeah, I hope you're inspired by my projects. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm gonna come back with a couple more demo videos and stuff kind of related to collage to kind of keep us inspired and keep us motivated to be creative during this time. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Feel free to message with any questions regarding techniques or things that I've done. Maybe there's something that you wish you had a little bit more context or information about. I'm glad to answer all of those questions. And stay tuned, subscribe. Thank you.